I didn't want to wait a whole nother month because then you miss so much. It looks so beautiful in the rain. It's late May here in Hudson Valley, New York, Zone 7, and I want to show you what's really going for it right now in the garden. Including my deer-resistant garden, there are some stunners. It's not all blooms and butterflies, unfortunately. I'm dealing with spongy moths, aphids, early stage spotted lanternflies. So I'll go over how I handle all of that, avoiding nasty pesticides, staying environmentally friendly. If you're dealing with deer pressure in your garden, I have a free guide with 26 deer-resistant plants, complete with images. It's printable, and I have tested all of these plants in my garden. So speaking of deer-resistant plants, I'm going to start this tour in the deer-resistant garden. Enjoy. The bee balm is getting ready to bloom, as are the lavender. The Concord grape has a ton of grapes on it. So exciting. Crocosmia peeking through. This Rebecca natita is also getting ready to put on its show. The clematis is putting on its spectacular show. We have a later one here that's not blooming yet, so it's nice the bloom time is staggered. This is the first one to bloom. All this newly planted stuff looks happy. The golden smoke bush, magenta magic yucca, and this artemisia. I just stuck here, so these are all really good deer resistant ones. And I like when you have the different colors. You have the gold and the purple and the silver, and then the green behind it with the drumstick alliums, which are getting ready to bloom. And then a ton of Russian sage in here, mixed in with some self-sown echinacea, which is also getting ready to bloom. Purple flag iris, which is a native to our area, so this does very well. I haven't sprayed it. Usually the deer do munch on this, but they're leaving it alone this year. Maybe because we've had so much rain, they have a lot more things that they'd rather eat. But this is a great one. It can be aggressive. I used to have a ton of it. I took a lot of it out because it's just, you know, it can be a chore to control. But just having a clump here is wonderful. Another clematis back there, looking really nice with the pink and the purple. These bearded irises finished their show. I have a later blooming one in the back that's putting on its show right now that we'll look at. The white irises are done for their early show, but they put on a couple more shows throughout the seasons. I just moved this golden colored catmint to this area because it was in too much shade. It wasn't doing much, so I'm hoping it's going to be really happy here. And that's an ornamental grass that used to be here that mostly died out. Getting it out was such a chore, and it's so heavy, so I kind of have to gear up. I might take the Sawzall of that and chop it up so that I can get it out, but I am so excited to have that space to put something new because the ornamental grass has been there for years, so I was kind of bored of it anyway, and it did spread its progeny. So here's one right there. It's some sort of miscanthus, so we still have it, and these alliums are looking good, starting to color up. This Russian sage is looking good. Still got one little heart left on our bleeding heart. And this iris is looking good. Getting ready to finish its show. The Amsonia is flowering, blue star. Joe Pye weed is coming up. This is the sweet Joe Pye weed. Gets like 7 feet tall. Usually at this point, the deer will come along and prune it for me, which I don't even mind because then it ends up being shorter, stockier, bushier. And then another variety of obedient plant back in there. And then this Liatris, I just had a lot of it that self-sowed, so I clumped it all together in this area here so it would put on a really nice show. I do have to spray this. The deer, they're not eating it yet, but as soon as it starts forming those buds, they like to gobble them. So I'm gonna spray it. I think it's worth it. I moved my Japanese forest grass next to that because I thought that was a really pretty contrast. They both have the grassy texture, but completely different colors, the gold and the green. I'd like to find another, I have one in the back. I think it's called Dark Side of the Moon, astilbe. It's black, and astilbe is another deer-resistant plant. I think that would look really cool there. The black chartreuse and green. A heuchera would look good too, but the deer won't let me have that, so astilbe it is. This is little Joe Pye weed. I was gonna move it because I thought it was sad it wasn't getting much sun, but I see how it really bulked out. It looks like it's actually gonna be pretty big this year, so I decided to leave it. I've got plenty of Rose of Sharon seedlings in here because these Rose of Sharon from the other side like to creep over. So that's a constant battle. Butterfly bush. Again, that probably gets too much shade, but it doesn't look that sad. So, another catmint, some bleeding hearts still left on this one. Some irises, which I think self-sowed. I don't even think I put these here. Well, here's that iris, you can see, because this is this shady area, this is north facing, so all the stuff over here blooms later. So this is what that one looked like. Really pretty one. These peonies are getting ready. They're getting ready. And I put these supports around these. So that should help hold them up once they bloom, because it's once they bloom, and especially once it rains, that they really like to flop. Clump of astilbe, getting ready to shoot up its bloom stalks. This is a weigela, a dwarf one. It's getting its flowers. I think this is the first year the deer are letting me see any blooms. Usually they eat these, even though they're supposed to be deer resistant. So I don't know if it's just because they didn't find these, because maybe it looks like they might have eaten blooms on the top. So I really should move this plant because those flowers are perfect for hummingbirds, how they have the tubular shape. You can see all these little Rose of Sharon seedlings. I gotta get in there, while they're small preferably. This Dicentris is still blooming, and this double play Big Bang Spirea is getting ready. Actually, it already is. It's already got its blooms formed. They're ready to pop open. But I like it for the foliage, best of all, especially this time of year. Nice and chartreuse. Bleeding heart looks like it lost all its hearts. The Dicentris still going. The ostrich fern looking good in the corner. Chocolate chip ajuga looks like its blooms are about spent. Golden cone juniper looking really good. It gets this bright gold in spring and then it turns to a plain bluish green. Foxgloves are blooming. This one's doing pretty good. That planted itself right under the hose link. The 9-bark is starting to bloom. It's interesting, the one in the back that is the same kind as this, it's already in full bloom. Foxgloves are looking so good. And that's another native iris back there, yellow one, that can also get aggressive. So I've taken a lot of that out, but I don't mind having a little of it. And the hellebores are still looking good. Oh, what happened with this stick? I'll put that back. Yeah, they go for quite a long time. Today is May 21st. They're still going for it. If you want to pick them to bring inside, this is actually the point you're supposed to pick them at, when they form their seed pod, and then they last longer in a vase, but I don't have all that many, so I just like to keep them outside and look at them. Yeah, this area filled in really nice. These foxgloves all self-sowed. These Globemaster alliums I mentioned on the last garden walk, that I want to divide them so that I get bigger balls, because that's what happens. They crowd each other out, and then you get multiple balls, but they're smaller if you don't separate them. You can see the echinacea. It really seeds itself everywhere. This is a tricolor sage. And then another autumn joy sedum, a little salvia, a hardy one. These are completely deer resistant. That's a foxglove. Another lavender. And I'm keeping my eye on this Erica heather plant because it's looking pretty sad and ugly. I think it might be time to take it out. I don't know if it was just too cold this past winter. It did it in, has a big bald spot, but I'm gonna give it some time to recover and see if it fills in, if I'm gonna keep it. Some golden anise hyssop, some more foxgloves. It looks like the pink dominated, but we have an apricot back there. So I had different colors originally. That looks like another apricot. There used to be some pale purple. It was a mixed pack of seeds I started with. Look, here's some coming later. That's interesting because maybe it's not from the same plant. I thought once it flowers you don't get another one, but it looks like we are getting flowers from that plant, so I'm glad I left it. That's why it pays to experiment. Yeah, this Leatris in here, I should spray. Sometimes they let me have it if they don't happen to notice it, but it's kind of risky. Yeah, I talked about these already in the last video, but why not talk about them again, because you might not have watched them all. This is a false cypress. This is great for deer resistance. This is a false holly, also great because it's pokey. And this one has a nest in it. You can see. So the birds like to hide in these. They don't mind the pokiness. A butterfly bush. The golden juniper. Oh, and this 9-bark is all bloomed up. This is a little devil. Oh, it's so pretty. It was covered, it still has these little white aphids, but I just blasted a lot of them off with a hose, and that seems to have done the trick, because the plant doesn't look sickly. And it is flushing out from where I did prune it, because it was munched on by the deer, so there were some stems looking kind of funny. So it's flushing out. I did already hit this one with some deer spray. I should hit it again. And these hellebores looking good. Another false cypress. This is the happiest of the Calvary boxwoods. And this Joe Pye weed is popping up. I did put some willow supports in for it. Little ground cover juniper. I should do something in here. Some more evergreens. There's a boxwood. This peony's getting ready to bloom. So these are deer resistant. I haven't sprayed these at all. I mean, you can't really count on it 100%, but so far so good. Clump of echinacea. This is Echinacea pallida. That's a different kind. It's a native as well. Some more boxwood. I want to find something fun for this corner. All right, let me show you the fenced in ones. Oh, our Mademoiselle rose, sweet Mademoiselle, is getting ready to pop, as is the yarrow. The yarrow is getting ready to pop so that I can see which colors I want and which colors I can let go, because the snakes have been kind of scaring me. They're hanging out in here. But yeah, we got, oh, well that's not good. Looks like spongy moth. Oh, spongy moth caterpillars all over these buds. All right, I gotta get in here. You see? You gotta get in here and smush them when you see that, because they won't let you have anything. It's just a really bad year for spongy moths. You know, I'm not one to spray, so that means I gotta get out here, put a pair of gloves on it, and smush everyone I can. That seems to keep them under control. Blue boy bachelor buttons. Comfrey's getting ready to bloom. The kale is so happy. Can start harvesting this. Been excited about that. This is blue curly, and this is dazzling blue. So pretty. And I think this is collards. And then this is cabbage, the smaller cabbage. Yeah, it seems the closer ones to the driveway are getting less water, which makes sense. So they're smaller. And the kale, I've just been little by little just nipping it off at the base and giving it to the chickens. They've been enjoying it. The flowering kale from last year. Looks like we got a couple strawberries in here. That's exciting. Oh, some red ones. I can pick that one. Nice. Nice. First strawberries of the year. Yeah, that's pretty good. May 21st, strawberries in New York. This is zone 7, in case I forgot to mention it. Yeah, I don't know why I'm showing you this. This green stalk needs to be weeded, topped off with compost, and planted. I was gonna move it. I think I might procrastinate. I might just leave it here for now. It's just not the greatest spot to water. Yeah, this is because I don't cover them. I should cover them. That's birds. Okay, let's go visit Molly. Put these down. Molly's in the compost because I had the chickens in there, because I had snakes on my compost pile. I had a compost ring, and if you have a bunch of snakes and you want to scare them away, just put in your chickens, because chickens eat baby snakes, and I think they know that. So the snakes are gone. Yeah, so here's those irises again, putting on their show. These bloomed later. So pretty. And you know, what's funny is I just had so many of these, so I actually just threw some here. I don't even think I knew what color they were because I had compost over here. I had no intention of planting it, but it planted itself, and this is the happiest one. It just loves this spot here, so I kept it. I have some tomatoes in here. That's what the stakes are for. And then these planted themselves. More pests. But they make such a great bouquet. They're little white daisies, and they look really good with peonies, and they bloom at the same time. I also have these Cherokee Sunset Rebecca that plant themselves. And these grapes, these are Catawba grapes. They do so great here. The spotted lanternfly has been letting me have them so far. I've been so afraid that they're gonna gobble my grapevine. If they do, they do. It's not the end of the world. I planted some clematis to grow up with the grapes. A white one and a burgundy, so I thought that would look pretty because these are red grapes. Yeah, Niobe red clematis. And I did pop some Brussels sprouts in too, because that has been helping. Yeah, I mean, it's looking a little sad, but it'll probably shoot up because they're a good aphid trap. Yeah, I have one right there too. Yeah, because aphids prefer Brussels sprouts, it seems, over anything. So if you can grow them some Brussels sprouts, they tend to leave your grapes alone. And the clematis I need to be better about spraying on this side because the deer seem to love the clematis. They're not giving it a chance. The clematis I have over there, we purposely park next to it, so that makes it like more intimidating for the deer to creep in between the car and the garden. So they've been leaving that alone. So I have a couple echinacea flanking the gate. This is another one of those echinacea pallida. And where these bamboo sticks are dahlias. Some Orlea that came back from last year, self-sowed. So you can see what they do to the clematis here that they can get to too easily. They just nip. But see, I did spray it, so they're letting me have some. Because if they eat all your leaves, it really stunts the growth of the plant. Really bad. Another echinacea pallida. It's looking a little close to the spirea, but it's getting ready to bloom. Got some pest damage. I don't know what, is this more spongy moths? I don't know what's eating that. But the spirea is looking good. Nothing's eating that. And really good. Yeah, here's what you can see they do to the clematis. They just nip, nip, nip right through the fence. This is a James Galloway rose that looks like it's recovering from its move. It was really sad. Gotta get that spongy moth caterpillar off it. Yeah, I moved it a little late. It was already kind of flushing out, but it was in a bad spot, so I just went for it. But that's a really tough climbing rose, so it'll be fine. It's a false indigo baptisia that I planted from seed. It's the first year it's flowering. So exciting. And it's funny, this columbine is purple too, that planted itself right next to it. So they look perfect together. And here's some hot pink crocosmia. And this is elephant garlic coming up, which is actually a leek. Technically not a garlic, but it basically is like huge garlic cloves. You use it the same as garlic, and it gives you these purple balls like allium flowers that the hummingbirds love. So some of it I just leave for the hummingbirds as a perennial, and some of it I'm going to harvest to eat. Oh, the Concord grape is doing amazing. So many grapes. I will thin it out because that'll help it. Like, we don't need all these vines coming out here. Catmint is finishing its first flush. Got some eggplant over here. The listata, it's really pretty. It gets white and purple stripes. Oh, and here's this clematis from this side. You can see the difference. This is the side where the deer don't get any of it. So it is just exploding. Oh, I love it so much. And I don't even think I on purpose put it next to this red 9-bark, but the purple and the red look really good together. And that one looks good too. And this one's looking good too. Next to the tansy, which is a really good foliage if you're making a bouquet, which is good because I do like to cut it back about this time so that it gets short and stocky, because it does tend to flop. If anyone knows what this white foam is, it looks like soapy. Can you let me know? I don't know what that is. I'm sure it's not good. And these are peppers in here. Sorry, the Marconi Italian. And then lipstick, which is a small red one, which Molly likes to pick them right off the plant. Sometimes she pulls the whole plant out. So that's why I planted so many peppers. That's Molly right there. She's the pepper eater. Got like all the colors. Oh, we've got flowers. Let's see, this is the yellow bell. Yellow bell, chocolate beauty, coral bell. Molly's getting her drink. That's why I'm always sure to keep the bird baths as clean as I can, because Molly drinks out of them. She's really good about drinking water. Betty likes it from the hose, not so much from a bowl. So I give her water from the hose. And we're getting raspberries. Yeah, it's an exciting time of year. Swiss chard's looking okay. It's like something's definitely munching on it. Should go through and harvest it so we just get all fresh growth. Yeah, again, I have the onions in here. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. Probably not. I just get excited and have so much to plant and then just start cramming things anywhere. That liatris looks happy. I just moved that this spring. And we've got the blue fama, scabiosa, and the white fama. Blue fama had a bloom. It's already, you can't see it, this one's already spent, but it's got more coming. A peony, I'm not sure which color that's gonna be. I planted that bare root last year. Pippins, another small pepper. Some celery. Something's eating the celery. That's not good. That's annoying. Calendula that planted itself. Some bee balm getting ready to bloom. It's a ground cover succulent. Echinacea. So it was the white Jupiter's beard that made it. I had the rose colored one too. So I'm hoping I still have the rose colored, because here's one that planted itself. I don't know if that's going to be another white one or what, or if there's, I was weeding, but I tried to keep anything that looked like it might be a Jupiter's beard. But there's a lot of calendula in here and echinacea. So this is a good time to cut back your catmint. You can see all the new ones coming. So if you just take your scissors and just chop that off, it looks much better. I should do that. I should get rid of this tulip foliage too. It's not doing anything. Another peony. And in here I have a philopendula. I'm hoping it's gonna bloom this year. It never blooms for me. I've moved it around different places, hoping it'll be happy. And this is just a bunch of dahlias. Got a Bacardi here. Royal King. Prince of Orange. So that's gonna be really fun. Just gonna be a fun cutting garden in here and food. And this bird bath is looking good. This is a Baptisia I planted the same time as the other one, so it's also flowering this year. Very exciting. And I moved a bunch of these liatris over here. Okay, let me take you to the back. Oh, see, this 9-bark is exploding. It's so pretty. So it really just depends, I guess, how much sun it gets. This one gets afternoon sun. This one, well, it's also a lot taller and happier because it never gets munched on by deer, whereas the other one does get munched on by deer. Oh, just look how pretty. The white alliums and the purple alliums. Oh, it's just a fun time of year. And I have this little iris. So happy. This crocosmia, I don't know why I planted it here. It gets flattened because I opened the gate and I propped the gate up there. But it's still hanging on, but I should move it. This is a pink lemonade baptisia. You can see some of the roses are getting a break from the spongy moth caterpillars. They're just more resistant. But you can see the spotted lanternfly. See those little, can you see those? Little tiny black and white bugs. That's how they start out. So it looks like they're doing some damage already. So just a buggy year. So it'll be interesting, you know, if you follow along and see, because I'm not using any pesticides other than some soapy water spray here and there. I'm just letting nature kind of balance it out because I want my birds, I want my beneficial insects to do their job. I don't want to hurt them. So if I have to lose plants in the process, so be it. But in the long run, it's better. The garden's healthier, and I don't have to feel bad messing with the environment, killing things that don't need to be killed. This euonymus, I should probably give another prune. But boy, it looks happy. The calla lily. Planted a bunch of them over here. They're coming up. This is a balloon flower I planted from seed, and you can see it self-sows pretty well. These are all balloon flowers coming up. Really pretty blue flower. This is common yarrow. It's just a white yarrow. Looks really nice to have a white in next to the hot pink of the echinacea. Because these are a bright pink. I have powderberry in here and also just powderberry seedlings, which are a mix of the native. That's a variegated lavender that I popped in. I just treat it as an annual. They never come back for me. Some Rocky Mountain penstemon getting ready to bloom. It's electric blue flowers. So excited about that. This is some veronica that I planted from seed last year. Yeah, veronica comes in different varieties. Usually in the store you see the spiky ones, but this is definitely different looking. Oh, the white alliums are looking so good. The peonies are looking amazing. We'll see how their little cage does. I see one, it's already getting ready to flop, but I think what I'm going to do, anything that looks like it's flopping, I'm just going to pick it. Use it as a cut flower. That's my mom's answer to staking peonies. She's like, I don't need to stake them, I pick them. And she actually dries all hers. This is a later blooming iris. It's putting on its show. Oh, this is my favorite one. And it looks so good back here because I try to keep a lot of pastels back here. Lavenders and peaches. So this is just perfect because it gives you both. And I did stake it because this one, it gets super heavy. You can see how big the blooms are. So every year they fall to the ground, but not this year because I staked it before the fact. So you can see my little sticks in there and the twine, but you don't even notice it when you step back. Any bug damage on this coral knockout? Yeah, oh, it's so annoying. So you can see the spongy moth caterpillar right there. I mean, I could just spend all day probably pulling them off. So I understand. I get why you might want to just spray your roses, but it's not good long term. As tedious as it is to come out here and smush caterpillars, it's a better way. This is Catch Fly, a variegated one. Got our 9-bark flowering back there that needs to fill out. That was smothered last year by plants. Golden Tower elderberry, looking awesome. These allium, I'll have to put the name on the screen. I love this kind. They're a little shorter. Really pretty balls. Pretty color purple too. Like a reddish purple. And this is coral nymph salvia. This is an annual. This is the #1 favorite in my garden of hummingbirds. That's why I try to plant it every year. I didn't get around to doing it from seed, but I found it at a plant sale this year. But it is easy to grow from seed. So I'm even gonna save the seeds from this plant so that I have fresh ones. So I made sure to plant this where I can see it from my kitchen window because the hummingbirds go for it. They just love it. I don't know, it must have extra nectar in it. And the lupin is looking so good. The bumblebees have been on it, enjoying it. This I planted from seed. It takes a while. You gotta wait till the next year to get these big, beautiful blooms, but it's definitely worth it. That's an allium, another allium. I forget what it's called. Yeah, things are coming alive. The saucer bird baths have been a hit. I have a few of them back here and they're all being used. Mystica penstemon has that white foam on it too. Yeah, let me know if you know what that is. It's a balloon flower, a shorter one coming up. These are almost open. They're getting there. The viola's still looking good. That's my biggest sedum, I think. It gets so big because it gets the water from our rain gutters are connected to that drainage pipe. And that's why I put the elephant ears too. They usually love it. They get huge with all that water. So it's interesting because it is a drought tolerant plant because it does hold water in its leaves, but you can see what happens if it does get extra water. It gets huge. And this is an at last rose, which is going to be great because that's going to bloom next to the blue Rocky Mountain penstemon, and the at last rose is like this pretty apricot color. So again, there we have the apricot and that soft blue purple color. The pelarmonium is finishing its bloom, but then we just have that pretty texture left from its leaves. The Mystica penstemon is getting ready to bloom up. The hydrangea is looking beautiful. I love it this time of year. It's so bright. That's blue bunny hydrangea. Gets these beautiful chartreuse leaves in the spring. It's sparkly flowers in the summer. And I forget the name of this rose, but this is a dwarf one. So pretty. It's another apricot coral color. And how are we doing with pests? Covered in aphids. So I think, see with this, what I'll do is come out with some soapy water spray, and that usually does the trick. Just a little bit of, I have palm olive and I just shake a few drops of that in with some water and spray it on. Not a huge deal. Oh good, and this black elephant ear is getting a new one. So that's a good sign because I just planted that recently. So it's getting established. Oh, and there's some more of that blue flag iris back there. And another rose from ShopRite. Ornamental plum tree. Japanese Hinoki cypress, which I should knock that spider webbing off of it. And the lilac is in full glory. It's blooming its head off. It's kind of encroaching on this white rose. This is a single white rose from Monrovia. So I might have to trim that bottom branch to give that a chance because I love this rose. You can see, see it's all budded up. It's doing so well, even under this branch. It's amazing. But it's hard to cut that because it's in full bloom, so I'll leave it a few more days. This phlox is looking good. I did a spray for powdery mildew resistance. You just shake in a bottle some baking soda, dish soap, and water and spray that on early in the season, and it prevents powdery mildew. And I think it's working because we've had a lot of rain. I'll put that recipe in the description. So ivory halo dogwood, which is much happier. It was very sad where I had it. I think it wasn't getting enough water because I had it under here next to this mulberry tree. So you have the canopy of the trees preventing rain from getting to it, but then you also have the roots of the tree competing for water. So it seems to be much happier over here. Golden arborvitae, toad lily, this enchanted willow, bonsai willow, I did decide to cut all the way back. If you saw it in the last tour, it was kind of taking over this area, and it's flushing out new growth. It did have a spongy moth caterpillar on it that I noticed because there were some holes in the leaves, so I got that off. Yeah, so I'm just really trying to keep an eye on stuff before the bugs annihilate it. And I feel like you really have to keep a closer eye when you don't want to use sprays. I think this is coming back. Let me see. Oh, I see green. That's a good sign. And I see a nasty caterpillar. I'm gonna put my gloves on. I'm just too grossed out. I'm just gonna hope for the best. This hellebor's flushing out. Nice new foliage. These hellebores are holding on. This little Carmel heuchera is starting to bloom. Another little rose from ShopRite. Covered in aphids, so I'll come out here and spray that too with some dish soap water. Japanese painted fern is flushing out nice. Brunneras are finishing their blooms. I like to leave them on because they do self-sow. A lot of these have self-sowed. And then this geum, yellow when it first starts to open, and then it fades to this pretty antique color. This is the lady fern that I planted bare root this year. How's this rose doing? This rose looks untouched, virtually. Just a teeny bit of bug damage. These are some coleus I planted from seed. It looks like a fail so far. It might not be worth it to do. I'm realizing you might be better off with coleus to just get the proven winners ones. They're so much more robust and happy. Here's a brunnera that seeded itself. This is the plain green one. This new heuchera has its bloom stalk. And this woodland phlox is still looking good. I'm excited about this because every year it gets powdery mildew before it can put on its big show and it fizzles out. But this year I did my preventative powdery mildew spray and it seems to have really did the trick. Some more Carmel heucheras. This piece just popped off and I just stuck it in the ground and watered it, and I'm seeing new growth. So that's exciting. Really easy to propagate. This is a lily that I used to have lilies and they seed themselves around really easy, but the problem is I have that, like you all probably do, those lily beetles, the little red beetles that someone brought in from another country that are invasive, and they all come in and they're gross, so I just decided not to grow lilies anymore. These are Big Daddy hostas that I planted from bare root. Another little hosta coming back. Yeah, I love this corner. Give you a view from here. Okay, now it's actually the next day because I had to be somewhere. I wanted to show you this hosta I'm going to get in the ground soon. Just picked this up. It's a nice chartreuse color. It's called Shadowland, coast to coast. Gets 30 inches tall and the spacing is 36 inches, so good size. Could divide it, we'll see, because there's technically a few of them in there, but I might just put the whole thing in and divide it in the fall. Hi chickens! Okay, I wanted to show you this shade garden. Let's start over here. I still have to plant this container up. These black-eyed Susans planted themselves in there from the seeds from that plant last year, and they just do so good. I end up leaving them in there. This variegated Joe Pye weed is getting ready to bloom. It does a really good job staying upright too. Only gets, I'd say, about 3 feet tall, so not much taller than it is now. And it's nice because I don't have to stake it. It's got nice sturdy stems. This 9 bark is flowering. It's looking a little floppy because we did get some rain. But that's why the hostas are so lush, all this rain. I'm just hoping it doesn't bring too many slugs. The amethyst bachelor button is kind of sprawling out, but they're still blooming. Got more blooms to come. And I did find if I deadhead it, it keeps going for quite a while last year. And the calla lilies are coming up. There's a pink one there peeking up. I put a clump of echinacea back there. Some lamium. Lamium is not aggressive in our area. I actually wish it would do a little better. So I might even take some cuttings to help it spread around. I deadheaded this rose tree, looks so much better. Finished its first flush. And there were some spongy moth caterpillars on it I took care of just by smushing them. This columbine is still going. This is a long blooming one. My purple ones didn't bloom for very long. Peonies are getting ready. I think their support is working really well. You can see the willow, some of it is rooting. These were willow sticks I put in. So what I do is I just go in there and jiggle it so that it doesn't form a whole willow plant. Hasn't been a big deal. And the GM is doing good. This is a bigger GM than the other variety I have, totally tangerine. And it just puts on a great show. And the stems are so strong because it got all rained on and they're still upright. Really happy with this plant. Betty, what are you eating? Betty, are you eating my dianthus? No, don't eat that. I think that's my dianthus I planted. They're little zebra dianthus, little black and white flowers. Apparently they taste good. And impatiens I planted from seed there. The phlox is done. Lemony lace elderberry is doing a good job because I put it there so that it would kind of mask the generator as it gets bigger. And it's definitely getting there. And back here you can see the dahlias took a jump. We have a Verbena bonariensis there that I think made it through the winter because this is a south-facing wall. So that's why these dahlias made it through. My other ones didn't make it through this winter. It was a cold winter. So this is good to know. This is my little microclimate here. If there's anything I really want to make it through the winter, this is where I'm going to put it. And I think I only lost, because you can see there's a dahlia there. See, there's a dahlia there, there. I would have had one here, so I think I lost one. That's not bad, because there's another. And I think that was it. One of them's a cafe au lait, one of them's a diva, a Sylvia. So we have burgundy, orange, and cream. So that's going to look really pretty. I think I'm going to put a T-post here and there this year and do a string to just support them all. And this is a daylily. Japanese Sun King is getting big. You can see how big the leaves are on these hostas. I don't get that every year. I think it's because we've had so much rain this spring. They're just to their full potential this year. The stilbees are getting ready to bloom. They've got all their bloom stalks up. This hydrangea is doing really good. I did cut back my hydrangeas last year because they were so floppy. I was getting tired of it. And I'm so happy I did because now they're all so stocky. So we'll see how they do. It seems like they have more blooms, but smaller. And I think that's going to be a lot better, a lot easier for the stems to hold them up. This lilac tree is done blooming. Bleeding heart is done with its hearts. So it takes up so much room waiting for the foliage to die back. That's a little scary because you don't know what's hiding in there. We come out and do a skunk check. You got to just stick a stick in there and poke it and make sure nothing's hiding before we let the dogs out. But it's more of an issue when these berries are ripe on this mulberry tree. That's what lures all the skunks and possums and raccoons. They find their way in. I have an aloha elephant ear here. And these are Cherokee Sunset Rudbeckia. They planted themselves. And this is great blue lobelia. That does a good job seeding around. I started that from seed years ago. Allium, a little sad from the rain. Boxwood. This little section's looking so cute with this dark side of the moon astilbe. That's the one I want to get for the front. And this golden oregano. I put a blue daddy there. I like having those three colors together. Your blue chartreuse and your burgundy purplish. And the columbine back there were later blooming because they're in the shade. But these get really tall eventually. So next year these will be tall. They just take a while. I started these from seed years ago and now they just spread themselves all over. And that's my house plant I stuck back here. This hydrangea is another one looking really good. And our soil must be pretty acidic because they do end up being pretty blue and I don't add any acidifier to the soil. This hardy geranium hasn't started blooming yet, which is so nice because I have one down the way that's just about done. So it ended up being a good succession. This alocasia is doing good in this corner. And I planted all this Irish moss from seed. So I'm hoping that does a good job covering the ground so I don't have to mulch so much right up against the edge. This is a St. John's wort that I thought was totally dead, but I'm glad I didn't take it out because it is regrowing from the base. So you can see that little piece right there. So I'm going to come in with the loppers and just lop all this dead stuff off and let it regrow. Some more happy hostas, astilbes, columbine still going for it. Another little blue hosta. Some in substance hosta looking great this year. Wow, really appreciated all the rain. Some more back there, different hostas. This bleeding heart is still holding on to its hearts. This is a twist and shout hydrangea. I remember this is a pretty one. Really pretty. This is doing so good after a good cut back. And Betty's right in front of the variegated iris. That sends up purple irises, but I love it just for the foliage. Another astilbe. And this is a bottle brush plant because the blooms look like bottle brushes. I think it's called Actia. The blooms smell like candy. It's so interesting. I love it. And this azalea, this is the only successful azalea I've grown. The other ones I grow seem to peter out, so maybe the soil is extra acidic in this area. But this azalea does really well. It's just starting to send out its blooms. It gets really pretty pink and white variegated blooms. It looks so good with the hostas. Looks like a branch back there I gotta pull out. And just some ferns intermixed. I think that's a Christmas fern. And here's the geranium that's finishing up. So many different hostas. I always forget how many different hostas I have. It's so fun to watch them come back. They do get a little dirty under this tree because the tree drops debris. It's kind of a shame. This columbine is happy here. It's got just enough sun, just enough shade. It's a good size. It still has some buds that haven't opened yet. So it is putting on quite a show. Have a volunteer Cherokee Sunset Rebecca right next to it. So that's perfect because the columbine will peter out in the summer and then that will take over. A fuchsia I popped in for some color. It's an annual. Another big daddy. Hosta I planted from bare root. Some bluebells. Got a Japanese painted fern in there. It's looking so good. And thanks for coming on this garden tour today. I didn't want to wait a whole nother month because then you miss so much. It looks so beautiful in the rain. Well, I'm going to leave you with my natural pest control because there's a lot of pests in this episode. And how do I deal with them? These beautiful creatures come and they take care of enough of them. They do their best. So I encourage you, if at all possible, to try and keep your garden as bird friendly as you can so that it stays balanced, you can enjoy nature and contribute to a healthy ecosystem right in your own backyard. Take care. Thanks for watching.